Hello everyone, it's thomasjujube and welcome to 2019. There's a bit that I want to talk about relating to this new year in this video, but first I just want to talk and reflect a bit on 2018. For me, 2018 was a great year. There were some great movies that I loved, such as Avengers Infinity War, Mission Impossible Fallout, and A Quiet Place, which I just recently saw. Those three movies all came out this year, and honestly, they're probably my favorite three movies ever. I love all of them so much, and they're all really cool and amazing in different ways. We also had Kamen Rider Build finish its run this year, which was a great show, along with Lupin Ranger vs. Powder Ranger, which is also very good. While we also had many sad moments, I don't really think of 2018 as a bad year. After all, I started 2018 with little over 100 subscribers, and now I'm ending it with over 1,000. You guys have been amazing and exceeded all hopes and dreams I could ever have had for the channel. I love each of you, and I'm so thankful for all of you. Now that I've reflected on this last year, I want to talk a bit about the upcoming year. As I'm sure you've noticed from the title, I'm calling 2019 the Year of Rebirth. That's because almost every fandom and series that I participate in will be completely different by the end of the year. Obviously, the big one is Power Rangers. With Hasbro's purchase of the entire brand earlier this year, the franchise is going to be very different. Whether or not Beast Morphers is good, the toys are going to be radically different, along with the general feel of the franchise. I mean, they changed the logo of the series after almost 25 years. And even if Beast Morphers isn't good because it was primarily made during the Neo Saban era, then I'm sure that whatever they decide to do next will be great, or at the very least, good. Because at this point, Power Rangers fans will even probably take a mediocre show. Along with that, Boom Studios is hopefully going to continue their amazing comics, and hopefully Hasbro will embrace the studio because they really have saved the franchise for me throughout this last year. So Hasbro, take some notes from Boom. While Power Rangers is going to be entering the new Hasbro era, Japan will be entering a new era of their own. Emperor Akihito, probably said that wrong, will be leaving the throne at the end of April 2019, which will be ending the Heisei era in Japan. With this, a new era will begin under a new emperor. Kamen Rider Geo has been celebrating this end of the Heisei era by paying tribute to the Kamen Riders of its period, with awesome movies I'm looking forward to, such as Heisei Generations Forever, or just fan service in the show. And along with that, Lupin Ranger vs. Powder Ranger has simply just been doing its own thing, but it will start the post-Heisei era by returning to its roots with a dinosaur series. They probably want to start off this new era strong, so guys, don't get angry at them for making another dinosaur season. Just don't. It looks like it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to this new Sentai season, and I'm looking forward to see how Kamen Rider will adapt and possibly change because of this new era, as they always do. Transformers has also had to do a bit of adapting. The movies have overstayed their welcome for many people and fans, and the cartoons really took a big dive in quality recently, and the comics are so complicated that I can't really comment on them. In this past year alone though, Hasbro has started to turn nearly all of this around. Transformers Cyberverse feels like a breath of fresh air, and while it's not a perfect show, I feel that it is really good and has had a lot of great moments, and I'm looking forward to seeing it continue in 2019 and to see what the next two chapters in Cyberverse will be. Along with that, Transformers Bumblebee was an amazing preboot. That is a prequel and reboot at the same time. No spoilers here, but it's a great change of pace for the movie series. There are a lot of great ideas here that are executed well, and there's a lot of heart and emotion in the movie. As I said in my review, I hope that Hasbro takes advantage of the positive responses to the movie and will do more with it and ideas around it in 2019. And then we've got the comics rebooting early next year completely. After a years-long continuity IDW has created and it has shaped and made, it's finally ending or has ended. Again, I don't follow the comics. However, I will begin reading them in this brand new continuity, as I've heard many great things about IDW's writing. It looks like they're going to begin by going in-depth with the life of the Cybertronians before the Great War, and I'm definitely looking forward to this new continuity and all the other new continuities in media of Transformers to come in the new year. Lastly, we have stuff like Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. Avengers Endgame has been said by the directors and others to be an end to this era of Marvel movies, and afterwards, the franchise will have new characters, new leads, and new stories to tell. And if the time travel rumors come true, then this will quite literally be a rebirth of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. On the flip side, we have the DC movies. After being hated on and having a really bad reputation for so long, there seems to be hope for the movie franchise. Following in the steps of Wonder Woman, the movies are going to be following a new formula by staying lighter in tone and not emphasizing connections to the other movies. By switching things up, it looks like it's going to be making a comeback. They have already started with Aquaman, which I thought was pretty good and I actually enjoyed, and they're going to be continuing this with Shazam. Things look to be shaping up in a good way for the worlds of DC. Lastly, we have Star Wars. The beloved franchise for many has been very decisive with many of its recent movies and is going to be releasing the last entry in its 9-episode saga next Christmas. I'm not the biggest fan of the franchise, but I am still a fan, so I'm looking forward to seeing if Lucasfilms will be able to win back the good graces of their hardcore fans with this movie. The last thing that I want to talk about is my channel moving into 2019. I will still focus on Kamen Riders, Super Sentai, Power Rangers, and Transformers, but I want to start trying to make videos on other things as well, specifically Marvel, DC, and Star Wars, the 3 franchises that I just spoke of. Other than Marvel, I'm not a massive fan of these franchises, but I am still interested in them and have thoughts on them that I would like to talk about. They won't take any new spotlights, but I'd still like to make a few videos on them, or maybe review their movies when they come out and when I inevitably go see them. Other than that, my content should stay about the same here. I will always be looking to improve my content, but the general idea and feel of them shouldn't be taking a big change anytime soon. I probably will be stopping the talking jujubes every month because it takes such a long time to record, edit, render, upload, and it's something I don't personally enjoy that much, and it's something that doesn't really get a lot of attention from anyone else on the channel. So probably going to be putting a hold on that. Maybe I'll do one more this year from the last 2 months, but probably that's going away for a long time. So sorry if you enjoyed that. Maybe I'll try to find another way to review the episodes from the shows that I watch. But once again, thank you all so much for all the support over this last year, and I would look forward to interacting and talking with all of you much more over this next year. However, before I go, I just want to take a look at the questions submitted to me for the hashtag Jujube2019 Q&A. There weren't enough people to constitute a video on their own, but I don't want to discard questions that people ask. Alright, so first up, we have a question from Kakure Daishogun. He asks, what is my favorite transformation device in all of Toku? So, I'm just going to preface this now. This goes for all the other questions too. A lot of you guys asked me to rank or give a top something of something. I'm trying to be general here. I don't really have like a specific set thing for like every question, and I'm not going to rank everything you guys might ask me, but I am going to give some of my top picks. So for example here, I don't really have a set favorite transformation device in all of Toku, so that's like 40-50 years worth of stuff right there. I don't really have a top pick, but on the rider side, I'd probably put something like the ride watches and the Jiku driver. That is a lot of fun, but I also really love the Gashats and the gamer driver, but I really just love the Gashats because they're video game themed. And I also love the Gabu revolver and the Judenchis from Kuryuger. I also like that. And I guess while we're talking about Sentai Morphers, I do like the Juo phone or whatever it's called. I like that one, the Juoger's Morpher. So I guess those are some picks from the Sentai and Rider side. I do like all of those. I mainly like Rider gimmicks though, so probably one of those 2 Rider belts I'd probably put at the top if I've ever tried to rank or make a top 10 of Toku transformation devices. So moving on, we have a question from J-Time who asks, who is my favorite rider and why do I like them? I can actually answer this question. Probably it's going to be Ryuga from Kamen Rider Build. One, I just love his personality. He's just really a lot of fun. I talked about this a bit in my build review, but I'll talk about it here as well. I really just love the way Ryuga grew throughout the series. He's also very interesting as a character, and he's just really funny. Like, he provides probably the best comic relief moments in the entire series. So I just really like him as a character. He's a lot of fun. But I also really like his suits. He has some of my favorite suit designs in all of Kamen Riders. So I like him as on the personality side and on the visual side when he's in Kamen Rider. So he's just a win-win for me. Stag Beal asks, what is my favorite Showa suit? So, I'm not a big fan of the Showa era at all, or the Showa suits. I haven't watched any of the shows. I haven't even watched the crossovers with them in it, so my connection to Showa is very, very minimal. So I did take a look at some of the Showa suits, and I have to say my favorite would probably be Kamen Rider Super 1. Probably just because he's the most modern looking of the Showa suits. I don't really like any of the others. They're kind of too weird. They're too bug-eyed for me. I like the modern Kamen Rider suits a lot more because they take a lot of different approaches and they look very different. These kind of just all have the big Kamen Rider bug eyes, so I don't hate that because that is a root of the series, but none of these I really like too much. But I do like Super 1. Good Yes asks if I have any Kamen Rider or Toku related concepts, like a story, suit design, or gimmicks. So I've actually really wanted a ninja themed Kamen Rider for the longest time. Like, I've always kind of wanted to see if they would try to do something like that. I had an idea for like a Kamen Rider that uses like shurikens, something like that. He plugs it into his driver and it spins and he turns into a Kamen Rider, something like that. So that's why I really, really like Kamen Rider Shinobi. That's coming out soon, and Kamen Rider Geo. That the second I saw that, I was like, oh, my wishes are granted. But I also really like coding, so I've also kind of wanted a Kamen Rider that uses like computers or coding to transform, and I had a few ideas for that as well. And the idea that I've probably kind of expanded on the most is a Kamen Rider that would use like the Matrix of Leadership as a driver and is like a Kamen Rider Transformer crossover thing. That would probably be a crazy idea they do for a show, and I'd probably watch it because I would like something like that. So yeah, those are some ideas I had. Noticed they're all Kamen Rider related because I like Kamen Rider a lot. So. Pokegold asks, how did I discover Japanese Toku? I believe I talked about this in a live stream once, but obviously not everyone can come to the live stream, so I'll talk about this here. I'd always kind of known about Power Rangers. I had like a shirt or something from Mystic Force. I had like a figure from Mystic Force and Operation Overdrive, but I never really watched those shows. So I never was like into Power Rangers back then, but I knew it existed. And then Power Rangers Samurai came on the air, and I think I found it on Netflix. I watched a few episodes and I loved it. I don't know, something about Power Rangers Samurai and just the idea of Power Rangers latched onto me from that point, and I just loved it. So then I dropped out of the series a bit because Megaforce was Megaforce, but then I was watching this one reviewer, MGO, you've probably heard of him. He reviews Transformer stuff, and as I've said before, I grew up with Transformers. So I'd seen one review where he's reviewing some Power Rangers-y looking stuff, which was the Kyoryuger toys. So I watched it and I was like, oh, what is this? And he wasn't referring to it as Power Rangers, so it was a bit strange to me what this was. And then Power Rangers Dino Charge was actually coming out at the time, and at that point I realized, wait, Power Rangers is not from America, it's from Japan. So technically I discovered Super Sentai first from Transformers, which is not how most people discovered it. And then from there, I discovered Kamen Rider, and eventually got back into Power Rangers because of Dino Charge. So it was this weird turn of events, but yeah, that's how I discovered the Japanese Toku. Moving on to your other 3 questions. Wow, you got a little ballsy there, didn't you? Anyway, he asks to rank the Another Riders from favorite to least favorite with reasons, blah, blah, blah. Again, I'm not going to rank that because maybe I want to save that for a separate video, plug right here. But also because I can't really rank all of those without going into detail because I need to think about that a long time. But I will say some of my favorite Another Riders are Another Deno, Another Fies, and Another Forze. I just like the look of these 3. They all are kind of like chunky and they're like a monstrous version of the... Okay, yeah, they're all a monstrous version of their Kamen Rider, but I just like the look of these 3. They look a lot very distinct, and they really capture that monstrous aspect that the others I don't really feel like they do. Then he asked my thoughts on the Gundam armor for Gates, and I'm just going to combine this with my thoughts on the X8 and Build armors that he also asks, because my thoughts on all of that kind of goes together, which is that I like them, but they just don't work with Gates. It's just the red undersuit doesn't completely work with these armors the way Geo's black undersuit does. The black undersuit allows for a lot of combinations and mixtures for Geo, while the red undersuit just kind of only lets Gates work with specific armors such as wizard armor and drive armor. When those are red suits, obviously it works wonderfully. But when it's not a red suit, like Genom, X8, and Build, it just doesn't work the best. Build is the best out of all these, in my opinion. The other two, just, I don't know, the colors don't really mix with Gates' suit here. Then he asked my thoughts on the Geo version of Ghost Armor. I like it, but I prefer the Gates version, honestly. Just something about the Geo suit. I think it's probably the pink eyes don't completely work with the orange face, and Geo's silver armor doesn't work as well as I think Gates' black armor does for Ghost's kind of design. So those are my thoughts on all that. Then Sonic Duelist asks which Kamen Rider opening I like the most. Again, I don't really have a specific favorite Kamen Rider opening, but it would probably either be Excite from X8 or Be the One from Build, or maybe Anything Goes from Kamen Rider O's, because that is also very, very cool. So probably one of those three I'd say is my favorite, but I do enjoy all those themes, and most of the themes, honestly. Actually, I'm going to cheat. My favorite Kamen Rider theme is the Heisei Generations Forever remix with every Kamen Rider theme in it. Lastly, Ahmed the Meme Cage 2019 version is the only person who asked me a question on Twitter and asks my least favorite, two favorite Kamen Rider Geo Ride Watch jingle. Again, I'm not going to rank every single one because that's like 25 or something Ride Watch jingles. I'm not going to rank everyone, but my top three would probably be Build,
Best match! Build!
Decade,
Kamen Riders! Decay, decay, decay,
and Drive.
The ride! The ride!
I really like those three. They just really have a nice kind of dance vibe to them, I guess. And I just really like the way they all sound. It's really, really cool and mixes really well with the sounds of the actual rider. Thanks to everyone who asked a question. It's really, really cool that you wanted to ask me something, and I hope I gave you a good answer that you actually liked. So that's it with my thoughts on 2018, hopes for 2019, and my answers to your questions. If you weren't able to ask a question in time, don't worry, because I'm hoping to start live streaming again soon. I'm not going to give an exact time for now, but be on the lookout for that. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to know when that's happening, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching, and thank you for a great year.